Hello, everyone, and welcome to an Impossible Creatures commentary. It is me, Bchamp, and I'm going to be looking at a game on Soothing Oasis of Mutts versus Abby. So these are some of the best players in the game. They're among the best, right now at least. So um,
If we can take
it's
out all
going to be
enemy
a great
labs, this island
learning
is ours
opportunity
for the
to
taking.
kind of analyze their game a little bit and uh, also show you guys how you can possibly look at games and try to learn from them yourself. So first thing we see is Abby's strategy. He's in red here, Mutt's in blue. Abby wants to send up henchmen up to this area, presumably to fence it off. Usually when you have henchmen this early, it's going to be to fence something off or to do a rush. Knowing Abby's style, it's probably going to be fence. And Mutt is actually using his extra henchman here to go for the early expansion. So he wants to um, do that first, while Abby, his plan is to block off this area and then take this coal stack, those coal piles, as well as this geyser. One thing about Soothing Oasis that you should know is the middle area is pretty valuable, but in general, the islands are more valuable. They have 6 coal stacks of these islands plus a geyser. These only have 5 coal stacks on each side and 1 geyser. So a little bit less per workshop that you're getting. If you are to control 2 islands instead of the whole center area, you have 2 extra coal stacks and an extra geyser at your disposal. So you can see here, Abby fenced it off using 2 henchmen just in time. If he was using only 1 henchman, would not have made it.
Boys.
Um, and the first thing Mutt does is he puts his own fence down, and so this makes it so that Abby can't just destroy his own fence and go in for a sneak attack. It's good to have your own fence there as well. Mutt putting some lightning rods here for scouting to he'll use the mini map down here to see if any units are coming in for a sneak attack. And in the meantime, he's sent a couple henchmen down here to get those valuable islands. Especially noticing that, okay, it looks like Abby's going to have control of the center. I definitely need to focus more on these islands up here. See Abby doing something similar with the scouting lightning rods. He has gotten this coal stack, and so he has a 1 workshop advantage, but he's also down a generator. It looks like Mutt's getting up a generator earlier, and so that's going to allow Mutt to get more electricity and get to level 3 faster. So it looks like Mutt just reached level 2. Abby's here creating henchmen. Mutt is over here building a workshop, setting up his generator. So once he gets this generator in, then looks like he has this one as well. So that's 3 generators. Abby currently is building his first one and starting to build his second one now. So Abby's definitely up in coal production, but behind in electricity at the moment. Abby's going up here, a single henchman to look at this coal stack, but you can see on the way to this island is Mutt with 2 henchmen, so it looks like Mutt's going to have the advantage taking this area here. You can see another thing Abby did is he used some fencing to as his next scouting post, similar to the lightning rod. Building a henchman there. And Mutt coming in with his first 2 water chambers, chasing down one of Abby's henchmen down here. Abby, noticing that he's going to lose this island, he's decided to slow Mutt down in taking it by fencing a ton. So this is a cheap strategy, since it doesn't require a lot of coal to do that, but it can slow them down if you use that time effectively. So you can see here, Mutt actually abandons chasing the henchman, and Abby is actually going to create a creature chamber right up here. Abby's henchman is still running away, finally taking this coal stack up here, but is now about to be down. Abby only has 2 generators, and Mutt has quite a few more. Still no activity on that henchman. Abby built a second fence here, fracture protection. He does really like fences. Overall, while it might seem that Abby has most of the map, you have to keep in mind Mutt does have a lot of advantage electrical wise right now, and so that's going to do him a lot of good. And we're going to see some of the first action coming in right here. So Mutt actually already knows that this exists. He was able to scout that out. And so I think this is a poor mistake on Abby's part. Instead, when he sees that Mutt's already seen, he should just blow this up. Instead, he builds 5 cam lines, which are not very cheap, but we'll actually see that I don't think Mutt loses a single one of these pouring sticks, but Abby loses all of his cam lions. So definitely a waste of electricity, especially these are very electricity heavy for Abby, and that's going to set him even further behind the electricity game. Although he is definitely up on coal right now, since Mutt does not have this workshop right here. Nonetheless, that is a good distraction, making Mutt use coal over in that area, but I think he could have done a little bit better, or just rather blown it up, in fact. So we can see Mutt's henchman actually is just going by uninhibited right here, and so on a really big map this can be pretty sneaky. He's actually going to build some creature chambers in this area. And so Abby probably caught on to this, and so he's building some creature chambers of his own. If he were building creature chambers over here, you'd think he's preparing for an attack, but he's building them back here, assuming he's preparing for a defense. Mutt's using his artillery to finally take this area, get some coal production going. And so you can see Mutt is actually ahead on research right now. Mutt just reached level 4, Abby's still pretty far behind. And Mutt is actually currently going level 5. The moment he hit 4, he started going 5 immediately. And that's a huge advantage of having all of that electricity. So now that this gyrocopter has gone over the area, then Abby's able to see this. He's immediately starting to build up defenses and use units coming on the attack. And Mutt has come over here with camouflage. These are tiger narwhals directly to attack his base. This is a great distraction. Really, you don't intend to win anything here, but throw off the enemy. If this would have been a great strategy, especially if Abby had not caught on to these, because then Abby would be paying attention over here while you're able to build up a small force there. Mutt gathers horse walking sticks around this area to protect in case Abby decided to come through with a sneak attack of his own. And you can see here Abby's building a ton of henchmen. Mutt just reached level 5, and Abby's building a ton of henchmen up here. He's not looking for level 5 himself, presumably because he doesn't have the electricity for it. But you are able to see Mutt's attack over here fails. But Mutt being level 5, he's started to amass a bunch of these beluga behemoths, so really good long-ranged artillery units. In the meantime, Abby keeps making a lot of these rattler giraffes. Also, we didn't mention this earlier, but Abby was pretty late to getting this, putting him even further behind. You can see, still, it's been a couple minutes, still not going level 5. He's actually created way too many henchmen for this coal pile up here. I'm not sure why. Maybe he has plans for them. And Mutt coming around here, sneaking his belugas around. Abby finally going level 5 now. So you can see Mutt rallying all of his belugas here, gathering up a force, knowing that Abby has not hit level 5. You can see Abby taking a gyrocopter full of his rattler giraffes over in this direction. It looks like he's going to make a drop right here. And this is a very good targeting point for Abby. He did see that there are 2 water chambers over here, which is a lot more dangerous. Coming over here is definitely, especially when you have land units, it's definitely a better option, but still takes out a lot of vital resources. Since Mutt does have a geyser lead and a lead on coal production right now. Mutt coming over here, starting his attack. Pretty devastating against some level 3s and 4s. Level 5s, definitely the gap between level 5s and level 4s is bigger than the gap between level 3s and level 4s, I believe. And these are some good melee units, but using Sonic effectively, Mutt is able to avoid them, and just by going into the water, very simple to trick. In the meantime, massive ranged and melee units have come over here to start breaking through this fence, putting pressure up here. Avi's very decisively taking this island. I think a mistake that he makes here is once he realizes that he's going to win this island, he doesn't do anything with his gyrocopter to bring henchmen up, or doesn't send any henchmen up at all. In fact, he sends his gyrocopter over here for a sneak attack. And this sneak attack could work out okay, but I think his gyrocopter would have been better utilized if it had left. It actually ends up staying here for quite a while. Meantime, Mutt is building up stuff. Abby just reached level 5. Using keen sense and sonar to be able to detect Abby's units, which are just helpless and being destroyed right now. Microing away the artillery as the melee come in, letting the range take care of the melee. Artillery are going to take care of the buildings. They've been upgraded with piercing damage. Come over here using a melee and ranged combo compared to the artillery ranged combo. Break through these fences. Mutt actually hasn't destroyed his own fence yet, so those were probably just acting autonomously. And Avi's little attack over here, he is actually now up on resources since Mutt lost this workshop, lost these workshops up here. He really should take advantage of that though by building his own geyser there, using the gyrocopter. That'd be very nice to see. But he does have a lot of pressure at his base at the moment, so getting big attacks here, because you can see all of Mutt's attacks are much larger, and he's building up a much higher amount of units in both areas, while Avi's have been in the past just smaller skirmishes that he's trying to do. He has built up quite a few units here to be able to defend. You can see Avi's using attack ground here, so that way he doesn't have to worry about microing with the melee coming in and the artillery attacking themselves. So you can see not looking too good here for Abby. He's not really queued a ton of units at these chambers right now, so it looks like he's not paying attention to this area. He's lost this workshop up here. Mutt's, in the meantime, reestablished that workshop. Not good. Still a bunch of idle creature chambers in the middle of this attack. I'm wondering when he's going to turn on lab defense here. Coming up, and here's a crucial mistake. He uses move rather than attack move on these units, and they just run directly into all of Mutt's units and just get completely shredded. They might only kill like 1 or 2 of Mutt's units, if even that. They just got completely shredded, a huge waste to Avi's entire army because he just wasn't paying attention to that area. A lot of pressure on him over here. He's going to turn on lab defense. So it's good to, especially for our artillery units, to build up a mass of them when you're on the defense. Before you start, just don't send them in one at a time. They're all just going to die. Building up some more units over here. He really should come back with these henchmen, start taking this area up here. It still has not done anything with this, which isn't good. Mutt, in the meantime, just plowing through these fences after all these units were gone. It's not looking good. Coming over here and trying to fence stuff off, but it looks like, you know, these land units up here are also just not doing anything. Could have used his gyrocopter, picked him up, went over and attacked this base, would have been great. But they're just getting picked off by these amphibious units, ranged units. So having a lot of trouble over here. and even more units coming around, attacking his creature chambers and his geyser as these slowly close in, taking out overpopulated henchmen. Cole that's just overmining right there. These are all going to waste. So Abby was able to defend off this first attack, but it looks like there's a lot still coming towards him. And he's very low on resources now. He, in comparison to Mutt, who basically has wiped out a lot of Abby's resources, but then has a ton of his own. Has all of his guys are still coming back up here, retaking this. Abby's finally retaken this, which is good, but Mutt just has more units and more resources, so this is where the momentum really goes in Mutt's favor. Abby's trying to build as many henchmen as he can faster. But you can see he's building henchmen. He's not able to build additional chambers. He's not building additional units right now anywhere. Building a couple chambers up here, not really doing much though. Using that great hovering ability. Hovering is really good on Soothing Oasis to be able to take out those top areas. Mutt coming back in here and just rallying in units. So I'm just going to fast forward actually. This is where the game starts to get into the end game. Biggest thing here is while I think Abby didn't really capitalize on what he had in the middle. I think he went for this too late and wasn't aggressive enough in getting the islands. Mutt made great use of those, and when Abby was able to take away resources, he did, but he didn't steal them for himself, and he didn't grab, or I guess he wasted a lot of money on these little skirmishes that didn't do a whole lot and set him just enough behind when he was already behind on electricity basically the entire game. From Mutt, he was able to get that very, very early level 5 in comparison. So that's really what won Mutt the game. Well played by Mutt. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something. Thanks so much for watching.